what's poppin'? So I figured that I would finally kind of make a video on my office setup. This is something that I've been wanting to do for pretty much ever since I started this YouTube channel, because I love watching these types of videos. And the places that I've shot in my office slash studio, YouTube studio, whatever you want to call them, has changed a few times over the course of this channel. We just moved into this house about a few months ago, and rather than making the excuse that, oh, I need to do this before I can make this video or that or whatever, I just decided I would make this video, and then if there were any changes that were made down the line, I would just update these videos. Yeah, let's start the office studio tour. Alright, so right now this spot is actually being multi-purposed. For those of you guys who don't know, I co-own a video production company called King Wolf Creative, so a lot of our stuff is here right now. We're moving into our own space within the next couple weeks or month or so. So when that happens, a lot of that stuff will probably migrate to that new space. Also, any of the stuff that I do mention in this video, I'll leave linked down below if you guys are interested in checking it out. If you do use those links to purchase any products, I will receive a small commission at no extra charge to you, because they are affiliate links. Just had to disclaim that. So a lot of this stuff is used for actual shoots, actual production shoots with commercials and music videos and all that stuff. You got some backdrops here, sound blankets, green screen, teleprompter, which I don't really ever use. Actually, never. I've never used that for this YouTube channel, but we use that a lot for some of the commercials that we do. You got your grip right here, which is, you know, pony clamps and Maffer clamps and gaff tape and any other clamps that you may need. Electric, you know, stingers, which is another name for extension cords. You got power strips, stuff like that. This is an audio bag. You got your foggers and hazers and all that good stuff. And then over in this little notch corner area, you got C-stands, kickstands, tripods. There's a boom pole, other grip type gear. So moving on from the grip electric area, you have this charging station slash kind of gear prep workbench. Then I got this pegboard that, you know, needs to be filled out, as you can clearly see. This area is probably what I'm most excited about with this area, is because I've always wanted a charging station that is very well organized. Back in the apartment, I was just using a shelf as a charging station, and it was kind of cluttered. Alive batteries there, dead ones go down here. C200 charger, a Sony battery charger. That's a V-mount charger right there. And this right here is a battery backup. There's a bunch of outlets on the back of this thing. Half of them are battery backup, and then half of them are surge, like a regular power strip. Basically, what's so great about this thing is actually storing power in it. So anything that's plugged into the battery backup side will actually stay on when the power goes out. Highly recommend getting one of those, especially for any hard drives that you have plugged in, because if your power goes out while your hard drives are on, that could potentially corrupt the hard drive. Down here you got the C200 in this Pelican case, which is super dope. Highly recommend one of those, especially if you do a lot of traveling for video production and stuff like that. C200's actually in here. I would usually use that to film these YouTube videos, but since I'm walking around, using the A6300. We got these Edison bulb string lights, and I actually have a dimmer right here so I can change the intensity of them, and I usually leave them around like half or a third when I'm filming. Then over in this corner we have some homemade apple boxes that we made, and then pretty much just all our lights and stuff. There's a gimbal right there, the Zhiyun Crane 2, I think. But we have the 120D Mark II, which is actually right there. An iCan Lyra, I think that's a half panel. I love those things. And then back here we have two Tri-8Cs by Aperture. Then way up there you got some like reflectors and other bags that we don't really use that often. Behind this backdrop I have two Yongnuo YN360s. There's one there and one right there. That's probably my favorite budget light that you could probably get, because it's RGB, it's bicolor. It does take those Sony MPF batteries, so you will need to get some of those. I have my Mexican telly right there, and next to those on this shelf are all my hard drives. I actually did a video last year on all the hard drives that I use. It's not completely up to date, as it's basically been almost a year at this point, but for the most part, if you want to see what I'm using, you could probably go watch that video. I'll leave a link down in the description below. And that finally brings me to my desk. Now the desk I got on Wayfarer. I don't really know what model it is, but it's just basically like a wooden desk with metal legs, you know, to fit the whole hipster rustic thing that I have going on. Got this like HP Bluetooth mouse, which honestly I don't know why I've had it for as long as I have. I've had this thing for probably like 4 or 5 years at this point. It's really small, but I don't know. I just never really found a reason to get one. I would like to get a Magic Mouse at some point. Then I have this wireless keyboard, which is also too small, I think. But again, I've had this for probably 4 or 5 years and never really had a reason to get a new one. I think I got this on Amazon for like 10 bucks. If I can find it, I'll link it down below. Turn on my laptop, get the specs for you. It's a 15-inch MacBook, 2017. I bought it in 2018, but early 2018. I got it about 2 years ago at this point. Nothing crazy. It's not super modded out. The reason is because when I got it, my old laptop died, and I had a bunch of client projects that were, in the process of post-production, and I had to get those done. So I just got the best available at the Apple Store that they had. 2.8 gigahertz quad-core Intel Core i7, it's 16 gigs of RAM, and then there's 2 graphics cards in this. It's a Radeon Pro 555 2 gig, and then an Intel HD Graphics 630 1536 megabyte. And then as far as storage on this guy, it's only a 250 gigabyte hard drive. I obviously do a lot of editing off on externals. Probably the biggest thing that I wish I had more of was more hard drive space. This monitor is an HP Pavilion. I don't really remember the size. I don't know, but I'll link it down below. It was pretty cheap. It's not 4K, it's a 1080p monitor. I've never had a 4K monitor. I'm actually going to be getting one soon in the new King Wolf office, which I'm super stoked on. But yeah, this thing, no problems here. This is kind of a newer thing that I started doing. So I have these like M Audio monitors back here. Are they M Audio? I don't know. No, they're Sterling monitors. But I have this PreSonus Audio Box USB 96 that I plug the monitors into, and I can control the volume here. But another really cool thing is my headphones, which are Skull Candy headphones. They're like those noise canceling Bluetooth ones. I can actually control the volume of the headphones here and then turn down the monitors and then just work with my headphones on. I don't do that as often as I probably should, especially because Jen sometimes gets annoyed with constantly hearing the same thing over and over and over again, especially music videos. So I definitely got to get better on that. But yeah, love these headphones. Great headphones. And then I have my AirPods. Pretty much carry these with me wherever I go, mostly because I love to use them for phone calls. And then
I'm gonna come in there and I'm gonna put my foot in your ass.
And the last piece of tech, if you will, on my desk is my Ember coffee mug. I think this is honestly one of the best purchases that I've ever made. This is one of those purchases that I didn't need, but I wanted. Other than like gear, I don't really buy a lot of things. I absolutely love the thing. They did come out with a newer generation of this, which I heard the battery life is a little bit better. I did notice that sometimes the battery life isn't the greatest on this thing, especially if I am away from my desk and I don't have it on the charging dock, but for the most part it's here when I'm using it. But yeah, that's this is the new office, so I'm really excited to kind of grow into this space and see where this thing goes. But yeah, thank you for watching, appreciate you, and I'll see you soon.